And now, colleagues, to close, first Ms. Sayward, followed by Mr. O'Donnell. Ms. Sayward, on the bill.
Madam Speaker, on the bill. You know the story of my family's journey to come to terms with our son's sexuality. After voting yes on this bill in 2007, and as I was leaving these chambers that night, one of my colleagues came up to me and said, "You will never be elected again in New York State." Yet here I stand today. I left the Assembly and headed up the Adirondack Northway to one of the most conservative districts in the state of New York, with my head held high and knowing that I probably would not return here to take this vote again, but also knowing in my heart that I had done the right thing and I had been part of history, making history and speaking for those parents that have found it hard to speak about their children before. When I arrived back in my district and the letters and the phone calls and the emails started to come in, I was overwhelmed to know that 60% of those responses were either in support of the vote that I had taken or in support of the political courage that it takes to stand up and do what is right, irrespective of how the voters decide in the next election. What really touched my heart, though, were the families that came to me and told me their stories, and the stories about how they still hadn't come to grips with the fact that their homosexual child, be it a gay or a lesbian, had been estranged from them, and how they had been ashamed to talk about them. And because of what happened here on this floor, and I thank all of you for that, they are now reunited with their families, and they're no longer afraid to speak about their children. Growing evidence from science, psychiatry, history, genetic medicine, the Pediatric Society, and certainly from personal experience, collectively leads all of us to the truth. And the truth of this matter is that homosexuality is not a sickness, and it is not a sin. Same-sex couples should not be denied their very basic rights. My son should not be denied his rights, nor should anybody else in this chamber or in this great state of New York. To discriminate against race, religion, or against sexual gender minorities is not only unjust, it is un-American. The word marriage is sacred to many, and Ms. Glick so eloquently talked about how marriage has evolved over time. And quite frankly, heterosexual couples have made many mistakes and have sort of shaped the way marriage has transformed throughout history. Today, and to me, the word marriage symbolizes love and commitment and family. And why shouldn't my son and all of the other sons and daughters around the state of New York have the same opportunity to experience that same commitment and love and family that heterosexual couples do? Other states have found that civil unions just don't give those same rights, and they have changed their laws. So I believe it's time for us to not only reach in our hearts, but to do what we as elected officials in America have done all along, and that is to say that we will not accept anything less than equal rights. And when we all held up our hands and put our hand in the Bible and pledged to our God that we would uphold the laws of the state of New York and the laws of the Constitution of the United States, we should think about that tonight. And we should think about these words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We will accept nothing less. Thank you.